baby Lambo, and they've traded 2 cylinders for turbos and a hybrid system. This is exactly what they did with the baby Rari. And it's a heavyweight game that McLaren has yet to play. So the question is, can lightweight simplicity keep up with all those heavy electrons? Let's find out. Cammisa's Ultimate Drag Race Replay is driven by Hagerty. Insurance by drivers for drivers. And if you have a special car that you don't drive every day, why? You should go to jasonsentme.com for a free quote on our guaranteed value insurance. But not yet, because we have work to do. We're here in Northern California at the beautiful Thunderhill Raceway. And as I look around at these gorgeous green rolling hills, I can't help but wonder, why does everyone always copy Ferrari? Lamborghini has abandoned the V10 engine layout that defined its small car for 21 model years and replaced it with a V8. Not just any V8, mind you, a flat plane crankshaft V8, the engine configuration that defined Ferrari's mid-engine sports cars since the 1970s. This 4-liter V8 shares absolutely nothing with any of the other 4-liter V8s from the Volkswagen empire. It is a big-bore short-stroke unit that's designed for revs. And of course, it revs to 10,250 RPM, which is faster than any production Ferrari ever. With the help of 2 turbochargers, it makes 789 horsepowers. But wait, there's more. There are also 3 electric motors, 1 at the back, 2 more at the front, each of which is rated at 147 horsepower. Total system output is an absolutely idiotic 907 horsepower, and it's going to need all of them. We are weighing this little baby Lambo right now, and it weighs as much as a Kia Telluride. And this one is the Ligerita package, which means it's lightened. And indeed, it is lighter. It is 1 pound lighter than a full-sized 8-passenger SUV. Come si dice a mu in Italiano? Meanwhile, the McLaren 765LT is over here weighing a literal 1,000 pounds less than the Lamborghini. That is a huge amount of weight. But the McLaren is missing a couple things that the Lamborghini has, chiefly those 2 electric motors up front that give the Temerario all-wheel drive. That means these rear tires need to cope with 755 horsepower, which sounds insane. But if you look closely at the Lamborghini spec page, you realize it's not all that different. The big difference is that these rear tires have a lot less weight to accelerate, and they don't have the help of the front wheels to pull it through. And now the happy medium. The Ferrari splits the difference in both weight and power between those other 2 cars. And while they each use a Ferrari-style flat plane crank V8, Ferrari went instead with a 120-degree V6, displacing just 3 liters, but it does make more power per liter than the other 2 at 654 horsepower. Instead of adding the hybrid motors to the front of this car, however, Ferrari added it to the rear, giving another 165 horsepower at the back for a total system output of 818 horsepower, all of which goes to those poor rear tires. That means this Ferrari sends more power rearward than either of the other 2 cars. But that didn't seem to hurt it much the last time we raced a 296 against a 4-wheel drive Porsche 911 Turbo S and a Cadillac Le Mans car. This is a very quick car, and one that unfortunately Ferrari wouldn't loan us themselves. So we rented one, and you can too, from Falcon Car Rental in Los Angeles. Visit falconcarrental.com. There's a link and a promo code in the description below. Thank you, Falcon. We couldn't have done this without you. Now is the time to race. Holy shit! It's not even close. That is a half a football field. Please would somebody explain to me how this Lamborghini and that Ferrari have exactly the same power to weight ratio, and yet the orange car was 11 car lengths ahead of the red car. Surely that must have something to do with the all-wheel drive launch, right? Right, and I am calling you Shirley. Airplane reference. Indeed. The Temerario's thrust mode launch is, for lack of a better term, absolutely batshit, completely b***ers f***ing nutty lunacy nuts. It revs the engine to a couple thousand RPM, plays tricks with its engine management to build boost, and preloads the electric motors. And when it lets go, the Earth momentarily stops rotating. But its tires don't. It somehow only barely spins all four tires and just F's the F off like it got hit by an asteroid. The run to 60 miles an hour is over in just 2.2 seconds, which is a tenth quicker than the Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport, by the way. And the whole thing happens in first gear. Baby Lambo pulls more than a G the entire way to 60. And at 60 miles an hour, this thing is just getting started. Second gear, over like that. 0 to 100 miles an hour in 4.5 seconds. This thing does the quarter mile in an absolutely stupefying 9.6 seconds at 146 miles an hour, which makes it the third quickest car we've ever tested with a combustion engine. It is behind only the 1,250 horsepower Corvette ZR1X and the Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport, which costs many millions of dollars. That is how you make an entrance for a brand new Lamborghini. Yeah. The Ferrari, meanwhile, can't quite keep up with that Lamborghini, but its power is all present and accounted for once the cars are moving. If you take the launch out of the data, you'll see this car actually accelerates just as quickly as that Lamborghini, which of course is not that much of a surprise because they do share the same power to weight ratio. The big surprise is that it did so well at all. This particular 296 is a Spider, which weighs almost 300 pounds more than the Assetto Fiorano coupe we last tested. And it's on all-season Michelins, and somehow still got within 0.4 of a second of that coupe's 2.6 second run to 60. Interestingly, the 296 is considerably quicker in second gear than it is in first, so clearly the computer is managing output by gear. This makes it feel even quicker than it is, because every time you grab a gear, it feels like it's gotten even stronger. Its rear end was squirrely the whole way through the quarter, but your butt would be squirrely dealing with 818 horsepower too. This was one hell of a performance. The 765LT crosses the line just 2 car lengths behind the non-Temu Rari. Oh, Jason, that was really terrible and inappropriate. I'm sorry. McLaren's traveling 1 mile an hour slower, but it's not actually slower. If you take the launch out, the McLaren's superior power to weight ratio actually gives it a bit of an advantage from 60 to 130. So this entire finishing order distance traces itself back to 0.2 of a second that the McLaren lost from 0 to 30 miles an hour. From there, it was a dead tie between the McLaren and Ferrari, and thus also Lambo. The launch, it seems, matters. The McLaren is based on a much older platform, and times have really changed in the last few years, especially where speed is concerned. This is still a blisteringly fast car, but one that can't quite show its taillights to the quickest newcomers on the block. You know, the ones with all the electrons. Here's something we have to do because we just have to do it. Two of these cars are plug-in hybrids that can travel on electric power alone. Look, this is effectively mandated by European CO2 regulations, but let's have a little bit of fun with it. So imagine you're an aristocrat in a fancy European city, and you're surrounded by particulate-spewing diesel hatchbacks. You want to show off your moral superiority by driving around in your supercar in pollution-free electric mode. Well, will you be able to pass the peasants? Which one of these things will be quicker? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that way is the world's first pollution-free, virtue-signaling Ferrari versus Lamborghini drag race. Good luck, you Luddite. So much more superior than all of you. No emissions.
He's got to be kidding. Surely you don't think we could even get a speeding ticket in these things in EV mode?
I'm not kidding, and I'd appreciate if you didn't call me Shirley. That is the second airplane reference of the episode. But get ready, because we're about to speed on a racetrack without speed limits.
Oh no, there's speed limits on pit lane, and they enforce them with radar.
Oh.
Do not ask me how I know.
Fine, but then we are going to need to find the radar before it finds us.
With our Valentine 1 radar locators. Cheers!
Cheers!
This is a strange new world.
Bye, McLaren! Bye, Ferrari. Oh, come on!
Slow and silent just isn't Ferrari to me, but man, I'm way ahead of that Lamborghini.
No, I might have to sell my Lamborghini now so I can virtue signal more quickly in a Ferrari.
With the combustion engines running, we have a couple really quick cars here, and then one unbelievably quick car. With them turned off, we can see how much the electric motors are actually contributing. And unexpectedly, the Ferrari's single motor seems to be doing more of the heavy lifting than the Lamborghini's 3 motors. On the other hand, having 2 motors on the front axle tells a very clear story, one of torque vectoring, aka handling. And in case you hadn't noticed, we're at a racetrack, so stay tuned because we have a lot more planned with the fabulous Lamborghini Temerario. Told ya. In the meantime, don't forget to visit jasonsentme.com for that free quote on what I consider to be the best way for you to protect your special car. Man, that episode's gonna sound good. It'll be a feast for your ears. Feast, food, lunch. I'm hungry. Let's go. Get at it.